Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast, Every Story Matters. And today we have got somebody that I have been following for almost 3 years now, and he's impacted my speaking skills in so many ways. And not only me, but millions of people. We have got Yassir Khan. Hey Yassir.
Appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Today we'll talk about confidence, public speaking, and storytelling. So Yassir, I have been talking a lot about storytelling recently, right? According to you, in public speaking, why do you think storytelling is important?
It's the most efficient vehicle to
Hmm.
deliver your message
Yeah.
in a way that people remember.
Hmm.
If you think about most conversations you have, most presentations you sit through,
Hmm.
if I asked you how much of it you remember, very little.
Yeah.
But if I asked you about your favorite movie,
Hmm.
you can walk me through the entire plot years later.
Absolutely.
I'm sure right now
Yeah.
you can picture a movie you watched as a kid and you
Yeah.
can still tell me.
Right.
So they deliver emotion well
Hmm.
and they're memorable. So it
Yeah.
makes them extremely efficient to deliver a message.
Right. So, if you have to give one or two pieces of advice, if somebody wants to improve their storytelling skills, what would that be?
But number one, most people don't think they can be good storytellers. They'll say, "Oh, I have no stories to tell."
Yeah.
You could drop a peanut butter sandwich and how it affected you emotionally. That could be a story.
Yeah.
So the bar has to be very low,
Mm.
right? And number two, make a point and deliver it with a story.
Right.
So this is why I don't buy an iPhone. When I bought an iPhone, XYZ happened, and that's why
Yeah.
I'll never buy it again. That's a simple example of a story.
Yeah.
So if you can just have faith in yourself and you can
Yeah.
have stories and you
Yeah.
can use them and make a point, you're
Right.
good to go.
Amazing. Now you have over 3 million followers on
I
Instagram.
lost 2 million. What happened?
Right.
Somebody got to check that. Yeah.
Right. So, and you speak with a lot of confidence. When you were starting out, how was your journey in the beginning? Like, were you facing same imposter syndrome, underconfidence? Like, how was it in the beginning for you?
My favorite word to use was the word introvert.
Introvert.
And I used it as if I have some disease, right?
Ah.
Hey, Yasir, do you want to go out? Oh, no, I am an introvert. Yasir, how did the interview go? Oh, it went terrible because I'm an introvert. You want to go meet some friends? No, I'm an introvert. So it's this excuse that I use for everything.
Yeah.
And I was reminding myself over and over again
Yeah.
of who I don't want to be.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time to overcome that limiting belief that this
Ah.
is not an identity that I have.
Right,
It's just a skill set that I never developed.
Hmm.
So when I started practicing public speaking, I
Right.
spoke better.
Huh.
People responded differently around me. And then I started to believe, wait, this is not who I am. I just never practiced the skill.
Right.
And when that belief shifted, so did my personality, so did my entire life.
Hmm. Some people think that being an introvert does not mean being a confident speaker. What's your take on that?
Well, a helpful question to ask is,
Hmm.
does it help me to believe this? Even if it's true, does it help me to believe this? So let's say you're someone who's an introvert and you feel like I can never be a good communicator.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a amount of truth to it.
Right.
Does it help you to believe it?
Right.
It's easier to just say I'm an introvert, I'm shy,
Yeah.
because then you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
There's no action required.
Right.
But the moment we say, actually, you can, you just have to work really hard at it.
Right.
I don't know if I want to do it. And that's why it's easier for people to just avoid that responsibility,
Yeah.
avoid that work,
Right.
and just use the word introvert like I did my whole life.
I myself believe that introverts are better speakers sometimes.
Okay.
Because Simon Sinek is one of my favorite speakers, and he calls himself introvert. I was an introvert a few years ago, and I hated talking to people. And I think what helped me to become better speaker is observation. I'm telling you, man, I've observed you, I've observed Wayne and so many great speakers. And observing you and all these great speakers gave me a lot of perspectives about body language, tonality. So I believe that introverts can be good speakers.
Yeah.
Talking about the content creation, right? You have millions of followers. Few days ago, I was going through your profile, right? And man, I saw there were some days where you posted 7 to 8 pieces of content.
Yeah.
I mean, you run a business, you travel across the globe to train companies on public speaking communication skills. How do you manage creating contents and posting content, 7, 8 contents a day and training and everything? Like, it's too much, man.
Well, let me simplify. It sounds like I do a lot. But if you think about how much you talk every single day, right? I'm guessing you talk anywhere between half an hour, maybe 2 hours in all of your meetings combined.
Yeah.
If you just put a camera next to you and it records it, how much content do you think you'll have? An hour, 2 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take a lot of time to do it, but we overthink what we're going to say.
Right.
So typically what will happen is, let's say I had a meeting with a client in the morning
Yeah.
and they were really struggling with their ums and ahs.
Right.
I'll pick up the phone. Today I had a client, they were really struggling with ums and that's the video.
Ah.
So then I can just 30 second, over and over again, and
Yeah.
I just bang that out. Now, this took a lot of time for me to work up to
For
because I
sure.
would, is the lighting correct? Is my
Yeah.
dandruff on my shirt? What's
Yeah.
going on? And I was overly just analyzing everything.
Yeah.
But eventually, when you realize, I don't even know what a good video is. I'll spend 3 hours editing the video, it'll get 500 views.
Yeah.
I'll record something in the dark and it'll get 2 million views. So I don't really know. Let me just shoot out as many as I can and upload
Yeah.
them, and who knows.
Yeah.
So I've developed this.
Hmm.
The barrier to entry of recording a video is very low. We're literally here on a balcony.
Yeah.
The sun's going down. We've got some buildings in the background. There's some
Right.
noise. Who cares?
Yeah.
We're having a conversation. We can do this
Right.
anywhere. So it's
Yeah.
very easy once
Yeah.
you lower the barrier to make content.
Got it. When it comes to public speaking, right? Let's say if somebody's watching us right now and she or he wants to start their journey of public speaking, and if they have 30 days, what would be the 3 to 5 things that they should do every single day to improve their confidence?
You don't even need 3 to 5. So I'll make it easy for you.
Sure.
If you wanted to learn to play the guitar, you would want to learn to play a specific song. Right?
Yeah.
Would it help you to pick up the guitar on day one and play one song, then the next day a different song, then the next day a different song, and do that for 30 days? Or you pick up the guitar every single day and you play the same song every single day for 30 days. Which one would you recommend?
I'd say the second one because,
Yes.
I keep repeating the same thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Skill is built through repetition.
Yeah.
And you don't need to do many things.
Right.
You need to do one thing. And that's the problem with the education system.
Mm.
It's focused on how do we give you more information?
Yeah.
And you receive information, you collect more tips, you watch more
Yeah.
videos, and you
Right.
think, I am learning a lot. But
Right.
really what you're doing is you're acquiring information.
Mm.
And it confuses you.
Yeah.
When really what you need to do is, I need to remove my ums and uhs.
Mm.
All I need to do
Yeah.
is slow down and pause at the end of the sentence.
Right.
That is it. Nothing else. No storytelling, no
Yeah.
vocal variation, nothing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
people get bored. So
Mm.
instead, what I would say is pick the one thing you need to improve.
Yeah.
Just do that thing for
Right.
30 days.
Right.
Boredom is what you're looking for. When you get bored of doing it, that means you're developing the skill.
Right. Then they can move on to the next one and the next one. And the
You
next
don't
one.
have to do it for 30 days straight. You
Right.
can move on to something else.
Right. I have been saying how much appreciative of you are, Win Jang, are one of our
Yeah.
amazing coaches. In this today's world, I have seen people, thinking as competition. But when I see you, we have talked a couple of times about Win Jang, and the way you appreciate him, you never think of him or anybody else as competition. So how did you develop that mindset, thinking, okay, same field, but still no competition at all?
Let me put it this way. Let's say you're a doctor, right? Would you be upset that other people also want to be doctors?
No, I wouldn't.
It's the same logic. If you were a teacher, wait, why are you also becoming an English teacher? I'm a biology teacher. How dare you become a... It sounds stupid, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what we do with competition. So for me, there's no competition. In fact, in our space of public speaking coaching, you can probably name the people off the top of your head who are famous for this because there aren't many.
Yeah, right.
So if there's 5 people, like, why do you want to compete? There's plenty to go around. There are
Yeah.
many people who need our
Yeah.
help. And even if you, me, Vin, we were just firing on all cylinders, we cannot cover all the people who need this skill set.
Yeah.
So what's the point of
Yeah.
being competitive?
Yeah, that's such a beautiful way to say it because I have literally seen people, having cut for competition. Oh, I'm this, I'm that.
Right.
But this is what I've learned from you as well. Even if I see somebody doing the same thing like storytelling or communication,
Yeah.
I used to think as a competition, but since I've seen your perspective on win other people, I was like, no, it's all right.
I have learned the people who feel the most insecure also tend to be either the most unsuccessful
Yeah.
or very early on in their journey.
Yeah.
So because they're just starting off, they're
Yeah.
just really insecure. Wait, this guy's doing this
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
that girl's doing this, I can't do that too.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that mentality yet.
That's right. Yeah.
If they knew, hey, there's more than enough to go around, you have this abundance mindset,
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
reason to be upset.
Have you ever been insecure about your life?
Every single moment of my life, yes,
Still-
including now.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I
interesting.
shared it with you earlier. So right now we're recording content,
Yeah.
but me turning on my camera and hitting the record button and recording in public, I can't do it.
Hmm.
My body freezes up. I get insecure. I start looking around.
Yeah.
I don't know why it happens. You put me on a stage in front of 5,000 people, no problem.
Hmm.
You put me in front of a camera at a restaurant,
Yeah.
I just completely shut down. So
Right.
I have all these thoughts in my head still.
Hmm.
The only difference is I now know it's going to happen.
Hmm.
So the objective is not to remove it, but to manage it.
Hmm.
And once you learn how to manage it, it's no longer unexpected
Right.
and it doesn't throw you off. And that's a strategy that's worked well
Right.
for me.
According to you, who would win the stage? Somebody who's very polished as a performer, or somebody who just goes with the flow, shares his story impromptu, and just more connecting with the audience? Like,
think back to what the point of communication is.
yeah,
You want to get people to think, feel, or do something, right?
yeah,
So if I am perfectly polished, every single word is perfect, and I'm saying it the right way, the tonality is perfect,
yeah,
will it help me achieve that objective? If the answer is yes, great. If the answer is no, then you're not succeeding at communication.
yeah,
The problem is when you are so polished, we can sense it.
yeah,
When you see someone on stage and they're just regurgitating whatever they've memorized,
yeah,
they don't sound real.
yeah,
And what happens? The trust starts to break away.
yeah,
You think, okay, they're saying the right things, but something, I don't feel like this is who they really are. I
right,
don't feel like I can really trust them because this is not their real self.
yeah,
So they're saying all the right things, but I can't take it on. So sometimes when you're so overly rehearsed, you
Yeah.
actually lose trust with people.
yeah.
So I think you can be prepared, but not scripted. You can
Yeah.
be structured, but
Yeah.
not scripted. And that way
Right.
you can be your authentic self, but also not go in completely unprepared, so to
Right.
speak.
When I was watching your TED talk, in the end, and of course, the motto of your TED talk was say something that people don't forget, something
Right.
unforgettable, right? Something forgettable. Sorry, unforgettable. My bad. So, according to you, what can a speaker do or a storyteller do can make them absolutely memorable and unforgettable while
Well,
speaking?
just show up in your underwear. That's a pretty good way. That's what.
All right.
Depends on what part of your talk you want
Right.
memorable.
Right.
I am a big fan of using short, repeatable phrases. Short, repeatable phrases. So
Right.
if you can just say a phrase over and over again. So in my TED talk, I
Ah.
said, it's not what you say, it's what they remember. And I said that phrase about 5 times throughout the entire talk.
Okay.
It was the very last thing that I said in the presentation.
Right.
And then if you look at the comments, the one thing that I remember is it's not what you say, it's what they remember.
Right.
And you will notice this about your favorite speakers. You have a quote and then the name underneath. The
Yeah.
quote, that's because these phrases become repeatable. So I'm a
Right.
big fan.
Hmm.
If you think about instructions for this is a very specific situation.
Yeah.
If you happen to find yourself on fire, which I hope never happens,
Yeah.
but you don't quite know what to do,
Yeah.
right? Now, there was a time where in the United States, some children, I don't know what's the situation, but they were on fire.
Yeah.
And they needed to teach people what to do when they're on fire.
Yeah.
So they came up with a phrase, stop, drop, and roll. Stop what you're doing, drop on the ground, and roll.
Yeah.
To put yourself the fire out. How easy is that to remember? Stop, drop, and roll. Now imagine instead of that, they had a 4-page instruction manual on what to do. No one's going to remember anything.
Right, right.
So this is the power of repeatable phrases, and it makes you memorable.
Amazing. You got such a wonderful voice about you, right? So if you have to give somebody tips to how to build powerful voice, what would those be?
It's funny you say that because before I hit puberty, my friends used to get me to prank call people in our class pretending to be a girl.
What?
Because my voice was very high pitched. So I would say, hey, I have a crush on you.
Oh,
and
God,
can we please meet?
unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what my teenage was like.
Yeah.
But after that, I was taught to breathe from my belly instead.
Yeah,
So I
yes.
used to breathe very shallow, but I
Yeah.
started breathing from here, and
Yeah.
that seemed to make a big difference.
Crazy.
Voice is really not my forte. I'm sure there's better coaches that can talk about how to manifest that.
Okay. So if you have to give one piece of advice to somebody who's starting their communication public speaking journey, apart from what you've said, what would be?
What is their objective?
Let's say if they want to, become, give the TED talk or maybe become a public speaker and, speak on a lot of stages.
Those are 3 very different things.
Yeah. Let's go with one. TED talk. If someone wants to give the memorable TED talk, what should they do?
Watch my TED talk. Watch my TED talk
Yeah.
about how to deliver a memorable TED talk.
Right, right.
I would say pick the one thing that you want to get really good at and just focus
Yeah.
on it. I heard a good quote. It's a difference between turning on a flashlight and using a laser beam. You don't want to be spread too
Yeah,
far apart.
yeah,
You want to
yeah.
be highly focused.
Right.
What is an area of your speaking that you want to work on and just do endless repetition till you get better?
Right. I've got one question somebody asked me to ask you. I'll tell you the name
Oh,
later.
okay.
Right.
Hopefully it's not about my personal life.
It's not.
Okay.
So I met him yesterday in Burj Khalifa and he's working there, right? He said, when I speak, I often miss the one word that should shorten my sentence, instead use many words.
Okay.
What should he do?
Typically that happens because people don't pause to think before they speak. They start speaking and they hope they find the right words
Yeah.
as they're talking. In
Yeah.
a sense, they say, If I talk enough, I
Hmm.
will then know what to talk about, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
So instead, if you pause,
Yeah.
if you notice, I pause for a half a second before I
Yeah.
open my mouth.
Hmm.
It just allows me to structure my sentence,
Yeah.
choose the right words, and speak.
Yeah.
If he just practices doing that, I promise you, it will make a big difference.
Okay, one last one. He said, despite reading multiple books, why do I struggle to retrieve and quote the exact sentences while speaking? He reads lots of books, but he's
Right.
not able to, proper put into structure when it comes to speaking the same thing. So what can he do?
So he reads books,
Yeah.
and then he's not able to
Articulate
Okay.
the same sentence or same phrase, or maybe rephrase in front of people. What can he do?
Remember this. You remember what you recall.
Yeah.
You remember what you recall. When you read something,
Yeah.
your brain isn't storing that information.
Right.
If you've ever taken a test before,
Yeah.
you read something in the notebook, what do?
Yeah.
You put your hand on it and then you try to recall it.
Yeah, right.
That
right.
tells your brain this is important to remember it.
Hmm.
So what I imagine he's doing is he's reading the book,
Yeah.
but he's not recalling it.
Right.
Recalling it.
Yeah.
So this is why when I do my interviews, I've said all the answers so many times.
Yeah.
I recall that information so many times.
Right.
It tells my brain, this is important, remember it. This is important, remember it.
Right.
So ask him, how many times have you tried to recall that information? Not just read it, but recall
Right.
it.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received in terms of business and life and public speaking?
See things as they are,
Ah.
not as you would like them to be.
Ah,
I went to a Vipassana meditation retreat, and I
Wow.
believe the word Vipassana means see things as they are,
Wow.
not as you would like them to be. Meaning, if you're in a specific situation,
yeah.
don't try to manipulate or change it, accept things for how they are,
Right.
and learn to manage it. So in my situation, I thought because I get anxiety on stage, I have some sort of disease. How do I get
Right.
rid of this?
Right.
But that will create more tension.
Yeah.
Instead, see the things as they are.
Yeah.
I'm experiencing this in my body,
Yeah.
and that's okay. Detach from the getting rid of it. Detach from
Yeah.
the how do I become a confident speaker.
Right.
And then when I learn to accept it, it comes and it goes, and I just ride it like a wave. So see things
Right.
as they are.
And what's the worst piece of advice somebody told you?
This is going to be really controversial. Let me make sure if I want to say this one or not. Be your authentic self.
That's the worst piece of
Yes.
advice. Why do you think so?
Because some people's authentic self just sucks. Have you ever met someone who has a terrible personality?
I have.
Do you want to tell them to be their authentic self wherever they go?
No,
right?
no.
Have you ever met someone who in an interview stutters and never prepares and then they say, oh, this is my authentic self? My opinion is most people don't even know their authentic selves because they only stick to one way of speaking, one way of communicating
Yeah.
instead of branching out.
Yeah.
So I would say experiment with the different things that you can do with your personality,
Yeah.
with your voice, and
Yeah.
then choose which ones you want. So when people say, oh, I just want to be my authentic self, I don't want to learn public speaking. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's a cop-out, and I don't think it's great advice.
When you're starting your journey, right, you had some belief about communication and public speaking.
Right.
But now, at this point of your life, you have billions of followers, coached thousands of them. Is there any belief that you thought initially was really important, but today, like, nah, it's all right. It's not that important.
Vocabulary,
Okay.
I don't think it's important.
Hmm.
In fact, the question that I get the most
Yeah.
is, Yasir, I'm a bad public speaker because I don't have complex vocabulary.
Right.
If you study the best communicators in the world, the best CEOs in the world,
Yeah.
simple, easy to understand language.
Hmm.
And this comes from insecurity, right? If I use complicated words,
Yeah.
the other person will see me and say,
Yeah.
wow, look at these big words. They must be smart. But the
Yeah.
problem is they have no idea what the heck you're saying because they don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So what is the purpose of communication?
Right.
To speak in a way where you can understand in
Right.
simple terms.
Hmm.
Vocabulary does not help that.
Yeah.
So I think learning vocabulary, sure, if you're learning English, different story,
Right.
but trying to focus on vocabulary to become a better communicator, most of the time it doesn't work. Now, the exception here is if you are in a specific industry and they have specific vocabulary they use. So for
Yeah.
example, if you're in marketing
Yeah.
and you don't know what CTR is, that's going to be a problem.
Right.
So make sure you know your industry lingo,
Yeah.
but you don't have to develop fancy language just to be a better communicator.
Right. I heard people all the time saying, you know what, I lack words, please teach more words. I'm like, I don't think you lack words, you lack more expression sometimes.
Yeah.
You lack how to, use your voice in a much more impactful manner, right?
Right.
Right. So, okay, last question. What is something that when you were starting your career, right, in terms of your public speaking, that you thought that, might work in communication, but it did not work along the way?
When I started my public speaking career, I thought might work.
Yeah.
So is this more of a career question or is it a technique question?
More career question. Career question. In speaking, maybe on the stage, we thought it would work, but it didn't. People talk about it, it should work. It's a big thing, but it just doesn't.
Well, I'll give you my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of chasing after event organizers to get them to hire me to speak at their events. Because if you want to be a speaker, that pretty much is the game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You want to reach out to a lot of event organizers, hopefully they choose you, fingers crossed, and then you get to become a paid speaker.
Right.
I realized when I am speaking to an audience that doesn't have an interest in the subject matter that I'm teaching, I don't feel personally fulfilled. So if I'm talking about communication and I deliver the best presentation about communication skills, but the people in the audience don't care about it, it'll fall flat. So I love working with people who are self-motivated, who pick and choose themselves. I want to improve this. I want to go to Yassir's thing. That fills my heart with a lot of joy. And I don't think this is a popular opinion. I'd rather work with those people than go the corporate event speaking route.
Right, man. Thank you so much, brother.
I appreciate it.
And last question, if you have to tell our viewer about last piece of advice about speaking or anything, what would be? Anything, last thing.
You can have all of the best communication tips and techniques, but if you don't respect yourself, none of those will matter. You see, you can work on your best body language. You can work on vocabulary. You can work on vocal variation. But all of those techniques, they become a mask to hide the insecurity you feel internally. If you are internally insecure, it will show externally. So develop internal self-confidence, and I promise you 99% of what do I do with my hands, how do I move my... None of those things, you won't have to worry about any of that. Start from the inside and then polish out the outside.
Thank you, man. Guys, I hope you loved the conversation, and please go and get in touch with Yassir. I will share his link in below. And once again, I hope you loved the episode, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you very much.